About 20% of our veterans coming back right now have PTSD. 20 out of 100. I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but it is. "22 veterans a day commit suicide. One a day is too much." I'm a veteran myself. I served 1998 to 2004. I was in Bosnia 2001 to 2002. I suffered from PTSD myself. Basically, I had a lot of anxiety, depression, difficulty sleeping, hypervigilant, trouble in crowds, didn't like crowds. For a little while, it took me a long time to get used to actually walking on grass, because when I was in Bosnia, there was a lot of minefields. And one of my missions was help probing, looking for a minefield. I think the hardest thing for veterans to hear is, suck it up. Just deal with it. Just get over it. It's not that simple. You're not the same person you were when you left, because it changes us. I don't care if you're in a combat zone one day or a year. All it takes is one day or one mission to change you. You don't have to be on the front lines to get PTSD. There's mortar attacks to the bases, rocket attacks to the bases. That can cause PTSD. Military sexual trauma can cause PTSD. 20% of those with PTSD are females. The veterans make up about 2.3%, give or take, of the population of the United States. We may be such a small portion of the population, but we're losing large numbers on a daily basis.
I think a lot of people, the everyday person always, they hear these things and they think, wow, I wish I could do something, and then it kind of, goes by the wayside, or it maybe seems overwhelming to actually, make a difference. And I think this is an opportunity for people to make a difference. We started thinking, what can we impact that's significant? What's meaningful to our employees? And, we have a large number of employees who have served in the armed services. And what is the biggest problem that they're all struggling with as they come home right now? Well, there's a lot of things, but one of them is PTSD. And that's when we started learning about local organizations who have been in this for a long time, as early as the 70s, who people have been very committed, but they haven't had the resources and they haven't had the community awareness to really make a significant difference. And that's where we stepped up to the plate, reached out to these organizations and said, how can we help you?
Loved doing photography when I was in high school. I got out of it for a while, then I started getting back into it, and with my PTSD, that was one of the things I did. I started doing wildlife photography. I started getting into doing some portrait photography, and I found that it was helping me focus my thoughts and not letting my thoughts run wild. And when I got the position on Ward 8 as the peer support, I started looking into if there was other programs out there for photography. And I found an article about Palo Alto, California's VA, which they have a program going out there.
One of the biggest surprises to me was how little support there are for people who suffer from PTSD. There's a lot of day programs. There might be, private or non-military resources that people can go through. But the reality is there's really only one program where somebody can go and stay for a long period of time and get the help that they need. And they know that works. And maybe that's the most disappointing part of things, is that they know that it works and there are not more opportunities for that. So there's a waiting list. But I think the best thing that they can do is get people into those programs as quickly as possible, get them into programs that work, like an alternative therapy program, really give people the life skills that they need, and then get them back out into society so that they can practice and put those things into place. In particular, Leeds has done an excellent job of researching and finding out about alternative therapies available to those affected by PTSD. So Randy Wessels in particular searched out and found a program for phototherapy. And in that process, he identified what they needed, how it might help those process their emotions and thoughts and feelings about returning to everyday life. And in most cases, as we've all discovered, that money becomes important in those circumstances. And as we were researching on our own and found out about Randy and the programs that he was running, it became a good match for us to support that alternative therapy program.
We have a nonprofit organization, Friends of Ward 8, that works with Ward 8 and the veterans. And they had partnered up with Smith & Wesson. We actually had a meeting and they asked us what our wish list was. My original idea was doing higher end point and shoot cameras. And everyone got excited about the project and they said, no, if we're doing this, we're doing it right. And Smith & Wesson came through with 5 Nikon D3100 cameras. We now use those for doing phototherapy. I go out a couple times a week with some of the veterans. We've had veterans that haven't touched a camera since they were in Vietnam. And they're now looking at the world through a different spectrum.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, how you doing,
I
Preston?
heard a lot about you.
Yeah, you too.
It's awesome, buddy.
Hey, good to meet you.
So, let's talk for a while.
Let's do that.
So, where did you serve in Iraq?
I served up north in Kirkuk with the 25th Infantry Division.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, how about you?
I served in Dong Tam area and the Rung Sat in Vietnam with SEAL Team 2 in 1970. What year were you there?
I was there from 04 to 05. During the first elections after the initial invasion.
Yep.
It's pretty hectic time over there.
Pretty tense, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's all tense war. You know, it's you don't realize it as much when you're going through until you get back.
Yeah,
you know,
that's when it all comes creeping up on you.
Yeah, I know what you mean. For many years, I stuffed my feelings and emotions, and I lived in the woods. I still had anger and anxiety, and I didn't really know what from. But more than anything, I lack of sleep. I was starting to have nightmares, and you know, it turned out I have cold sweats. I'd wake up in the night, and my wife and I was screaming, and my wife would look at me and say, "What's going on?" You know, and I said, "Nothing. I'm okay." You know, but we were in denial. At least I was in denial about it. You know, I didn't think I had anything wrong with me, and you know, it took me a long time to come forward, and it took a lot of other Vietnam vets a long time.
Yeah.
And once I came forward and got involved in the program at Ward 8, which is absolutely wonderful for us, because the people that were involved in helping us out, the counselors and everybody there, support staff, they're all so caring, and they all make you feel good about yourself. For a long time, you're putting yourself down, at least I was, you know, you're depressed and you don't really know what from.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I know a lot of guys that did the same thing, and I think it's important for other veterans to realize it's okay to come forward, that it's okay to, you know, it's okay to hurt, it's okay to cry, it's okay to do those things.
I understand exactly where you're coming from when it comes to cold sweats and nightmares, you know, intrusive thoughts. I had a lot of anger problems when I first came home. I didn't even know what to do with myself, really. You know, and it wasn't until I actually was introduced to that program and went into it that that I realized that I was just with a bunch of other guys that felt exactly the same way I did, and had a staff who was supportive and able to offer the services and the therapy that guys like us need, you know, to get on with life and get through things.
The guys have seen worlds of difference. You know, we've had guys that were shut-ins. We got one veteran who basically, when he came to us, he isolated in his basement. He never really came out of his basement except for doctor's appointments. I got him to go out and do photography, and he did some beautiful, absolutely beautiful pictures. He's got this one of a cactus made out of barbed wire, and he's got his hat on it. And it speaks without actually having to say anything about the image. He actually still looks into doing the photography. I've had guys that turn around and have gone out and bought the same package camera setup because they got so excited about it, they want to continue doing it. And just seeing the change in the veterans from the time they start the program to the time they finish, and how they're still excited about doing photography. It's a form of expression, but it's also a way of focusing in and remembering that you only can deal with one thing at a time.
It's good to be in this program. It really is. I get a lot out of it, and then now they've introduced photography, which is really awesome, huh? Yeah.
This is very awesome.
So tell me about how you feel about it.
I love it.
Do you?
Yeah, it's aside from the great therapy that I get, you know, in treatment at Ward 8 when I'm going through there. It's for me, it adds an extra level of serenity and peace, looking through the lens and just, you know, focusing on things and taking my mind out of the world and the surroundings and really focusing on, you know, something more minute and detailed.
Yeah, you know, for so long we've been focused on all the bad stuff and all the horror shows and all the, you know, the dying and the grief, and then the camera gives you kind of an outlet, you know. And I also found that it makes me feel a lot freer because for so long I bottled up all my emotions. And looking through the camera gave me this sense of freedom, especially when I shot that picture about birdhouses. It was really quite amazing, you know. And you did the one with the dog, huh?
Yeah, she was beautiful in the snow. That was last winter.
I'd love to see this program expand to other VAs. I'd love to see us advance the equipment that we're using. I'd love to see some guys get published with their artwork, you know. Let them see that, you know, we're not broken. You're not. It's something we live with. There's no magic pill to cure it. But we can turn around and learn our coping skills so it doesn't affect us as much on a daily basis. So it's something you're going to live with the rest of your life. And through education, through the programs, we can try to educate our families so that it doesn't affect them as much. Because it's not just us living with it, it's our families too, and our loved ones.
You know, little things like going to baseball games or going to the park, we all take for granted. And those are new and sometimes painful experiences for people who suffer from PTSD. And the more that we can help other companies or other people become aware of programs like this and support them either through time or financially, that would be a great goal for us. You know, Smith & Wesson could say, we got someone else involved, that would be a great win. That would give more people the opportunity to go through a program like this or something similar that helps them. And if that was the one and only thing we achieved, is getting other people and other companies involved, I'd be thrilled. I think that would be one of the best outcomes that we could have.
The phototherapy program makes a difference in the lives of the men and women that serve this country.
I look at it as a window.
Yeah, window into a new world.
Yeah.
You know, and to get you away from the old one, right?
Yeah, exactly. But you know, we've been through the same program, so
yeah, right.
It's worked for both of us.
Yeah, right.
I also think that it's great that, you know, you being where you're from and me being where I'm from, two different wars, two completely different generations, that all of us have a place to go, you know, to get treated for whatever it is we might be feeling as far as PTSD. And then the whole photography program we got going on now too has been therapeutic all in itself.
I know it. So looking forward to my next stay. I really am.
Do you know when you're going back? Then we'll go through together.
Yeah, you want to try to do that?
We'll put in for it.
That would be wonderful.
That would be great.
Yeah,
Sincerely.
awesome.
I'm really happy to meet you.
Me too. I'm excited about our new relationship here.
Mm.